There are multiple ways to compose a song or a piece or even a theme, and there are really no rules. Well, other than, I guess, if it sounds cool to you, then just keep it up. But even there are some suggestions and ideas that you can always get inspired by. And in my case, I kind of have a list in a drawer of just ideas that I kind of feel like are cool, and maybe one day I'll actually end up doing something with them. Whether it's trying a specific genre, or chord progression, or vibe, or even a specific technique. And one of those that I had been trying to do for a while was a retardando. Now, if you're not aware of what a retardando is when your song, like instead of fading out, for instance, it kind of grows slower and slower. And there are multiple ways of doing retardandos. I actually did one in one of my songs called Can't Even Try, but that one was the style where you take a riff and you literally slow it down gradually until you just end the song. But there is another type where you take a riff and you kind of just switch up tempos, but instead of just doing a tempo change where you move from one tempo to another, you kind of make it a little bit more dynamic. So certain songs might have a little bit more pull and more drag, while in other ones you rush a little bit more. Overall, I guess you do just end up slowing up the track, but it's not just a linear slow up. You kind of go a little bit more by feel, if you get me. And that specific type of retardando, I only really tried it out in my latest release song, Sunrise and Cry, which if you haven't, you can and should go check out anywhere to listen to your music at. I had a couple of riffs that had been featured throughout the song, but they were honestly played in a more upbeat way, and I kind of thought they would sound cool in a more mellow and dramatic way. While in my head it did make sense, and while I was playing it, it kind of felt alright. When I was notating all the notes and chords on MuseScore, I copied some of those riffs and pasted them on the end of the track, and added the little retardando portion, just to hear it played back and see if it actually indeed matched the vibe that I was looking for, or if I had to move into a different direction. And maybe I was lucky, but it actually sounded pretty cool. So I then exported those notations into MIDI files and put them into my DAW to then record my demo tracks over them and have somewhat of a solid foundation to work with. When you just export them into MIDI files, those tempo changes of the retardando aren't really exported naturally. Which makes sense, I just didn't think about it when I did it. But I didn't really think much of it, I just decided that whenever I got to that section of the song, I would just play the retardando myself and play it however I felt it should be played. But when I did it, even though I was playing the notes right, it just wasn't really matching the vibe that I was looking for. Somehow that fake programmed retardando by MuseScore, a non-emotion filled human, actually sounded better. Or, well, I don't know, maybe it didn't sound better, I just got attached to it or to the sound of it. So I then went back to MuseScore and then exported the whole track again, but in an audio file instead of a MIDI file, and placed that finale within my DAW, and ended up playing along to that track and programming every single instrument to that track when it came to the MIDI planning, since the tempo out of the retardando vibe of MuseScore really isn't completely straight, and there was really no way that I could just map that tempo out without taking too much time. Every MIDI trigger and MIDI note and MIDI sample was placed by hand to match up with that audio file. And obviously not every single one was exactly dead on. Some were a little bit ahead of the beat and others a little bit behind of the beat, but honestly that even adds to the charm of it, because there's a foundation of what you're doing, but not every single musician is going to be exactly feeling it the same way. And if you ask me, maybe this is all just nerddom, and if I played it myself with a gradual tempo change or whichever suggestion you might add, it probably would sound at least as good, or who knows, maybe even better. But that fake and emotionless robotic retardando actually sounded super cool, and in my opinion it gave the song the vibe that I was looking for. Who knows if perhaps we shouldn't just trust our AI overlord. But anywho, in the context of the song it sounds something like this, but you probably should check out the rest of the song to actually get the full vibe of it, because this is the finale of the song, where it gets a little bit more emotional, and it is effectively the consolidation of the entire journey that we went through throughout the song. Are retardandos something that you work with often? Are you the sort of person that messes with musical softwares and then ends up figuring out something that they probably couldn't have replicated any other way? Let me know. And while you're at it, don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe, turn on all the notifications, follow and stay tuned for more, because I'm releasing new songs every week and I'm releasing new videos every day, twice a day. If you like this one, I'm sure you'll enjoy the other ones too. And hey, perhaps even share them with a friend who might also enjoy them. In case it wasn't obvious already, go check out my latest release song, Sunrise and Cry, anywhere you listen to your music at. And thank you so very much for watching. Your support really means a lot and has been amazing in these videos and songs, and I can only thank you so much, so I hope to see you in another video, and until then, cheers!